Abusian dollar won sensema from the time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ebetina akunya so amanfo bebre ebo na baso ewo ho se dollar baby a na ewo na we reduce no ababedu 10 point something there onipa ya ade a osayeye ti yembo na baso na eyeye mfa na yeye nyina ema no eho asem enya nkonko da asa because amanfo gusu a ewo eye doubt ewo Ghana ACD no ne value a all of a sudden enya ni mu according to amanfo bebre obu chire mu a eye nioma pi na eye aban no eya ama eye dollar yi atimi aba fom na omo san so kire se enya de se dollar na aba fom no enya any major effect ewo Ghana economy no so because even though say dollar na aba fom in so prices of goods and services baby etim na no anase baby a aban dada no eja no honom no saa ene da so tie anase ebi mu mpo kire se enioma ne bi mpo atimi arezi a enya asenteto ana last week mu onum baby na me de news ni nyina abre mu ana me kire se IMF the strong warning ebre Ghana mo kire se the way Ghana ye manipulate your dollar to CB figures no a rate no Ghana government anase Bank of Ghana ankasa ahye da atenase a or sisa figures no manipulate figures na we say aban no eyi ne nsa free mu na eye market na ankasa find the true value of the cedi eno eye ensem ahodo a eye IMF for de bre Ghana na finally ensem ahodo bebre na eba efa sa dollar to cedi yi ho a amanfo bebre na esu twaja ajo mo chese even though say dollar na akofom na esu places a obetimi anya dollar ni bi no obekọ no na 10 point something na ewo Bank of Ghana for omo website and na say omo de beto abonten obekọ honom no na places ne de omo de je 12 point something ne ade enti amanfo adwadifo ene omo a omo de dollar edi omo dwuma nyina no ensem ahodo a omo ka de akira ban no enya asenteto a Ayeka TV so ne abusia unya subscribe ya no abomode ano subscribe na afi so comment section honom wa kire wa adwen se de be ya bibia ebeye kama yembo rem ni enkotie nsema hodo a ekoso ewo honum nyina.
Banks,
it's becoming extremely difficult to access this forex from the mainstream banks. The trading that we do, the transactional rate that we get is derived from the black market or the forex bureaus instead of the mainstream banks, because that's about 70% of our transactional rate is derived from the black market. Yeah.
and when you go to the banks, what explanations do they have?
Okay, so mostly you want to transfer money to your suppliers, and then it is delayed, sometimes a week, 2 or 3, and that's what people have to contend with. And that's true. That's the reason why we met with Bank of Ghana. The governor assured us that there is enough for us not to be panicked, but it's still persistent, and we don't know why.
But the banks themselves, do they give you an explanation at all? Banks themselves, do they give you an explanation at all when they delay in making the transfers for you?
Yeah, normally they will say that if you want, they will also apply to the central bank for you. And but this, the auctioning was there before. It has always been the same. It hasn't changed. So we don't know why now we find the same processes of acquiring the forest. We cannot get it now. And before, it used to be the same system. It's not that any system has been changed, the same way they do the auctioning. So that's why we were questioning the Bank of Ghana at the other time, that is it that there are some bigger entities that are swallowing the forest to the detriment of the ordinary businesses, or we should find a way to track the flow of the forest to the mainstream banks, because otherwise we don't understand why we can't access these forests unlike we do before.
So you're now relying on the black market, I presume.
I've told you over 70% of our transactional rate is derived from black market and forex bureaus, and that's what we've been transacting with.
Where the rates are obviously higher than what you get at the
Yes. So normally, if you say that we have gotten the gains from the stability of the currency and the prices are not following suit, what we say is that what benchmark rate are you using? Are you using the interbank rate or you are using the black market rate? And we are almost all of us using the black market rate. And so the earlier we found a reason, I heard that other people are saying that it's through documentation and all that. Those of us who do not have documents in the time past have never gone to bank because they have a way of transacting. They have a way of doing their transfers through the offshore systems and the black market, the allergies and all that. We have a way to do that. Any person who goes to the bank to do transfer is a person who is ready with documents and all that. And these are the people who are not getting the forest. And so we have to find out why.
Thank you very much, Joseph Obing. He's the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association on Newsnight. I wonder if you can shed some light on the challenges the banks are having now in providing forex to our traders and those in need of it in bulk. We've just been speaking there to the Guta president, who says yes, facing significant challenges when they come to the banks and requesting for forex to transact business abroad. What's happening? What's the challenge?
Thank you. Thank you very much. The issue we are facing now as a community, particularly in the area of FX supply, has a lot to do with the change in the operational framework. How banks used to access the forex from the central bank, and hitherto were going for the auction. Once you win the auction, with the documents that are available to you, you are supplied the dollars, then that enables you to also meet the requirements of your customers. Unfortunately, now, okay, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but the new process is that if you receive documents for perhaps a transfer, and you use those documents to bid at the auction, the central banks want to review these documents before the auction results are met, or if when you are successful. So what it means is the bank will be unable to act until feedback is received from the central bank that for these transactions that you submitted, of which you won the auction, these documents are okay. You can proceed to undertake the transfer, and they will supply you the FX for you to do that. And mind you, along somewhere around 2023, the central bank took a step which we thought was a temporary step, which unfortunately has become a permanent fixture, which has significantly impacted the supply of forex to the bank. You will recall that around that time, it was announced that all forex inflows from the oil sector and also from the telecom sector and also the mining sector should all, instead of coming through the banks, should all directly go to central bank. So what that did was to immediately truncate a significant portion of the supply of forex that usually would have come through the banking system to help facilitate the demands from our customers and to meet the requirements of the trading community. That is lost. Now we go through the auction process. Yes, we have the data to support the fact that remittance flows have also improved, but in the last few weeks to maybe a month or two, we've observed some level of stress within the remittance environment. We don't know where the flows are going, and the supply of remittance flows to the banks have really dwindled. So there are a bit of concerns here and there. I wouldn't characterize that as shortage, but I think there are operational concerns that we've already written to the central bank, which we hope that those operational lapses or concerns will be addressed so we can improve the supply to the market and to remove the fears and the lack of confidence that is potentially building that may unduly put pressure again on our currency.
And the BOG, have you heard from them yet since you wrote to them?
I got a note from the governor offline, but we are yet to have a formal response from the central bank on the matter. But we are built to meet the governor and his team on, I believe, 12th of this month, following the MPC meeting. We are definitely going to have to discuss some of these concerns, and I'm sure after that meeting we'll have a clear way forward.
So categorically, the banks are not creating an artificial shortage, deliberately holding back?
No bank. I mean, we are in the business of intermediation. If you don't supply the FX, how are you going to undertake the business of banking? There is no intentional strategy or an approach by the banks to limit the supply of FX. Banks that have supply from other sources, from their normal export proceeds and other interventions within the market, they are able to meet the needs of their customers. But obviously, there are some customers that are in the pipeline awaiting approval of auction results and documentation supporting the auction from the central bank. Once those documentations are approved and we are given the all clear to undertake those transactions, obviously the FX will be supplied by the central bank, and the banks will do what they have to do. That is why we are there. And so there is no intentional attempt by the banking industry. We don't gain anything from it. We have everything to lose by intentionally withholding supply of FX to the market.
Thank you very much. That there is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa. So listen to News Night on Joy 99.7 FM.
We'll tell you how the demand for 2 to 3 years
by-election on Parliament's Economic Committee is accusing banks of deliberately suppressing public demand for dollars to maintain the currency at the official rate set by the Bank of Ghana.
While speaking to journalists, the ranking member of the Economic Committee, Kojo Opon Nkrumah, said the minority supports the central bank's decision to investigate the alleged limitation of forex supply by banks.
That's what the finance minister said, and that's why we told him on the floor that the propaganda won't help you. The facts will not support the argument you are making. They could not also dispute the IMF's argument that in the first quarter they invested about $1.4 billion of our reserves. They dumped it onto the market to try to suppress the currency. They could not dispute it. They said they didn't have the most recent data, but then they will work to get the data. And then we asked them to give us historicals, which they will be bringing as well. On the matter of shortage of currency, it was a bit contentious. In one breath, the governor argues that the Bank of Ghana thinks that there's no shortage. In another breath, he does not dispute the argument from the traders that they are not getting the dollars. And so they are beginning to suspect that the banks are not trading all that they have to trade, or that some of the banks may be holding forex in their nostro accounts. And that's why they have announced that they will interrogate that. Again, I asked him a specific question. Have they noticed any breach in the net operating positions of the banks or the application of the nostro account rules? They could not say they had noticed any breach. And so we put it to him that if you can't see any breach, then why do you suspect that the banks are, not putting all their forex on the market, for which reason you have had to come and intervene? We are of the view that what the traders are saying is true, and that the banks are, doing what they have to do. The traders suspect that the banks are suppressing demand by using this documentation argument, and in so doing, matching the suppressed demand to the supply so that the currency will stay at the official rate they've put it. And we put it to him. He said, well, what they are doing is that they are examining the nostro accounts, and then they are also going to keep a closer eye on the net operating positions on forex of the banks. We think that's fair.
Well, you also claim that the recent stability of the cedi is as a result of the policies implemented by the administration. And
They admitted a number of things. Number one, that the cedi is performing well, mostly because our external side is robust. In fact, when we checked the details of the data, you will find out that gold prices have shot up by about 43% as against the same time last year. But in terms of volumes, there has not been a significant change or even a doubling of our gold exports. It is the price that has changed, and the price has changed mostly because of the things that are happening on the uncertainty side on the global market. The government hasn't done anything about it. The price has gone up by about 43%. Incidentally, you notice that our CD has appreciated by about 42%. On the cocoa side, it was clear that the major increase in cocoa exports, coupled with about a doubling of the cocoa prices, is the reason for which we are earning a lot more from cocoa. Again, it's obvious that the government has not planted and harvested cocoa in the 6 months. So if the volumes are up and the prices are up, it's understandable where it all came from. So the governor admitted that the major reason for which we are